Spent all morning cleaning out 30 years of dust and doubt. Coffee cold beside the sink, too many memories left to think. Old receipts and rusted keys, pictures blowing in the breeze. Thought I'd smoke my last good one, and mercy hit me like the sun. In the bottom of an old wood drawer was a little piece I'd missed before. And that Willie's Reserve gonna calm my mood, lift me up like the good Lord would. Slow burn fire and a grateful buzz, thanking heaven for the life that was. Smoke rolling through the evening light, old man smiling, feeling alright. Ain't got much, but I got enough, a little bit of green and a whole lot of love. That Willie's Reserve gonna ease my soul like country music on an old back road. Some folks chase gold, but this is what it does, turns hard times into a grateful buzz. Outside watching daylight fade, listening to the blue jays sing in the shade. Dog stretched out beside my chair, mountain wind blowing through the air. Life ain't been no easy ride, lost some things I still can't hide. But every scar and every bruise makes these quiet moments feel like truth. Funny how the smallest things can make a tired heart wanna sing. And now Willie's Reserve gonna calm my mood, lift me up like the good Lord would. Slow burn fire and a grateful buzz, thanking heaven for the life that was. Smoke rolling through the evening light, old man smiling, feeling alright. Ain't got much, but I got enough, a little bit of green and a whole lot of love. Yeah, that Willie's Reserve gonna ease my soul like country music on an old back road. Some folks chase gold, but this is what it does, turns hard times into a grateful buzz. Maybe peace ain't something bought, maybe it's the lessons taught by old farm roads and smoky skies, and learning how to simplify. Yeah, that Willie's Reserve gonna calm my mood like an old porch prayer carved into wood. Slow burn glow and a grateful buzz, still believing in the life I love. Moonlight rising on the pines, thankful just to be alive tonight. One old farmer still standing tough with faithful dogs and a grateful buzz. Yeah, the world moves fast, but I don't rush. Found a little peace in a forgotten crush. And if tomorrow comes, well, brother, because tonight I'm living on a grateful buzz.
You're still here, I'm still here. Woke up this morning with the sun through the trees, coffee getting cold and a warm summer breeze. Old dog in the yard and just a chasing her tail, and the birds don't seem to know the world's going to hell. I laughed to myself, said, Lord, would you look at that? Another day of living, I'll take all of that. I've had some hard miles, but I ain't finished yet. You're still here, I'm still here. God's not done yet. You're still here, I'm still here. We got another sunrise and another year. There are songs left to sing, there are seeds left to set. There's a whole lot of living we ain't gotten to yet. So laugh when you can, love with no regret. You're still here, I'm still here, and God's not done yet. Sometimes I roll one and I sit beneath the sky, watch the clouds make pictures as they're slowly drifting by. There's a sermon in the mountains, there's a hymn among the pines, and that old creek keeps on preaching without speaking a line. Funny how the quiet lets you hear what matters most. Every little miracle we hurry past so close, from the wildflowers blooming to another sunset. Take a look around you, God's not done yet. You're still here, I'm still here. We've got another sunrise and another year. There are songs left to sing, there are seeds left to set. There's a whole lot of living we ain't gotten to yet. So laugh when you can, love with no regret. You're still here, I'm still here, and God's not done yet. We've all got some scars from the roads that we've known, lost a few we loved and walked some miles alone. But if your heart is beating, friend, there's something left to do. Maybe somebody out there needs a little hope from you. You don't need a fortune, don't need your name in lights. Sometimes being kind can turn somebody's whole day right. Plant a little goodness everywhere your footsteps get. The harvest isn't over, God's not done yet. So breathe it in, slow it down, put your worries on the ground. Look at all He's painted from the mountains to the sea, and thank Him for the simple gift of getting one more day to be. You're still here, I'm still here, and that's a pretty good reason for some gratitude and cheer. There are songs left to sing, there are dreams left to get. Maybe our best days haven't even happened yet. So raise up your coffee to the morning you've been blessed. You're still here, I'm still here, God's not done yet. Nope, not even close.
Well, good afternoon, my mustard seeds. Here we go again. Yep. Blessed with another day, another sunrise, another opportunity to decide what we're going to plant in this little piece of this world God has given us. Oh, too much going on, too much uncertainty, conflict, money, politics, everything is going wrong. Everything. It's all poo bar. It's all poo bar. Yep. But I've lived long enough to know that the headlines don't get to decide how our day goes, right? It doesn't. It doesn't. It'd like to, but it doesn't. Sometimes the greatest act of faith is simply getting up, putting your feet on the floor, thanking God for another breath. All right, Lord, let's see what we can do with this one. Yeah. There's a lot happening around, the country and actually around the world, if you think about it, with everything going on. It's like the whole world's turned flipping Antichrist. And it kind of makes me ground myself even more in his word. I was digging. I was in the Bible. I was in the Bible for a while yesterday, and I was reflecting on Samuel and David's relationship. Out of all the songs that David did, he never did one about Samuel. We talked about the guy who found him as a young boy, anointed him, was there for him during different troubling times up until the point that he went and played for the king, and even after that he met with David a few times, and so David was anointed 3 different times, but I would think that the first anointing would kind of be the one that really sticks out at you, And so I ended up, I fell asleep. I think it was about 9, maybe 9:15. I had been working on a song that Bill sent me over a couple ideas about, and I was working on that, and I was like, all right, it's time just to go lay down. So I went and laid down, and I started dreaming about David, and it came to mind, and I got up and sat down and started writing what I seen on the in the dream, and so I put something together. I put something together because I'd like to know. I'd like to know. So I'm going to share it with you. Some of you haven't heard it, and some of you have. You've gone to the channel, and we'll be back right after this song.
I still remember Bethlehem, the dust beneath my feet. Just another shepherd boy watching over sheep. No crown upon my forehead, no army at command. Then an old man came with heaven's eyes and oil within his hand. He looked beyond the youngest son, beyond what men could see. He heard the voice of God alone, and he called out to me. He poured the promise on my head, long before the throne. He saw a king inside a boy who still felt all alone. The oil ran down, but years rolled on through giants, caves, and tears. Samuel, your faith in God still echoes through the years. The palace held its dangers, the wilderness its pain. Saul pursued me day and night like thunder chasing rain. More than once I questioned if the promise still was true. Then I'd remember trembling hands and what God spoke through you. It wasn't just the oil poured, it was heaven's perfect plan. The Lord was writing history with one obedient man. He poured the promise on my head long before the throne. He saw a king inside a boy who still felt all alone. The oil ran down, but years rolled on through giants, caves, and tears. Samuel, your faith in God still echoes through the years. You never wore my crown, you never fought my wars. You simply walked where God had led, then quietly stepped aside. A prophet plants the seed of faith, though he may never see the harvest God will someday raise from simple destiny. You pour the promise on my head as heaven called my name, not for power, not for pride, not for earthly fame. The shepherd found a shepherd boy, then shaped him through the years. And every psalm I've ever sung still carries all those tears. If every song I've ever written finds its way above, may one be carried to the man who first believed through love. The throne was never mine alone, it always was God's plan. So I lift my voice in gratitude for the prophet Samuel.
Yeah. That's what I think David would have said about Samuel. But it's kind of funny that he never wrote about him. With all the Psalms. Now, other people mention Samuel. Other people mention Samuel. But you would think that the Psalms, you know, and this is the other reason for that song. During watching the second season of David, the House of David, there was a part where and this is the connecting the dots and understanding how our thought patterns can manifest in our dreams. There was one particular part where David had to seek out Samuel after Saul started hunting him. And he went to the mountainous area that Samuel was encamped at, because Saul was trying to kill Samuel because he knew that Samuel had anointed another king. He just didn't know that it was David. David knew, but David was loyal. He didn't want to take the crown by force. He didn't want a war in order to come into power. Okay. He wanted to learn from Saul in two ways. He wanted to learn what to do that would benefit the people of Israel. But then at the same time, he wanted to learn what not to do because of the fact that he's seen the struggles, he's seen the heartache, he's seen the turmoil, he's seen the death, he saw the destruction. Because if you think about it, Israel was not. You think about all the years of wars for uh, for Saul in comparison to the years of war for David, and you begin to see this picture that Israel was born through war. Okay, and let's look at this rationally. Okay, Israel was born through war. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, you have Jacob and you have Esau. Esau swore that if he ever saw David or Jacob again, he would kill him. And after Jacob was gone for almost 14, 15, 16 years, Jacob comes back into the picture. He's got this family. He's got these, he's pretty much established a really big family. And Esau is still Esau. Esau is still Esau. The night that Jacob wrestled with God, and he was and was given the name Israel. He who wrestles with God, right? Isn't that what Israel, the original meaning for Israel was, right? He who wrestles with God. It was a person, a people that became a nation because of the 12 sons and their brides and their children and generations and so on and so forth. But we come to the time of David and we have to say to ourselves, but we look back at the time of David, or forward at the time of David, I should say. Okay. He started by being a protector, because that's what a shepherd is. He went from being a shepherd to being a musician to being a warrior to being a criminal or fugitive to king. And there was a long period of time of peace. But at the same time, there was also a long period of time of turmoil. Whether it be the story of Absalom or the betrayals that were coming in regards to his sons battling for the crown, even though Solomon was named. So there's a lot there, but wars, and it's funny, we still have them. We still have them. And yeah. All right, let's get into some stuff. You guys ready to do some stuff? Let's do some stuff. Okay, stuff. Yeah. So I should have done this before we got started. Should have had this all scrolled down, ready to go, but I didn't. So get over it. Yeah, I said that. I said get over it. And let's see here. Come on. So a lot happened in the White House yesterday. Well, a little bit of a lot of stuff happened in the White House yesterday. See, I started off with Global Chart yesterday, so we're going to start off right with Miller time. Carly Bonet.
For those of you who want to do your research on this, Section 215A of the Immigration and Nationality Act gives the president this authority. 215A of the Immigration and Nationality Act. Very rarely used, probably one of the strongest laws in the entire federal code, gives him this power. And that's not the only, but it's the main statutory authority that's being used in this order. So birth tourism is by definition a fraud on the American system, on the American taxpayer, on the American visa. If you're coming here, and again, your stated purpose is that you're a tourist, then by definition, you are here to come for a few weeks, look what we have, engage in commerce, and leave. So if you're telling a consular officer you're here as a tourist, but your true purpose and intent is to go to a baby mill, give birth, and try to mint an American citizen while you're here, then you're committing a fraud against the American government. And by definition, that visa can and should and will be now denied. So for those of you who want to do your research on this, Section 215A of the
215A
Immigration and Nationality Act
of the Immigration and Nationality Act. And he wasn't playing. Yep. And then we've got...
We had a very unfortunate decision in the Supreme Court concerning birthright. It was close, but a very, very unfortunate decision. So we're making adjustments because it's very unfair. This was done for a different reason. This was done right after the Civil War. This was for the babies of slaves. And what's happening now, people are building businesses around it. From wealthy people are building businesses around birthright citizenship. That's not the way it's supposed to work. It's a disgrace. They're buying their way in, and we're not going to let it happen.
We're not going to let it happen. Not going to let it happen. And then we got this.
But he was subpoenaed here to testify, refused to answer any questions, even after being directed by the chair and being advised of the law requiring him to do so. He has cited a privilege that is unsupported because of his blanket pardon and because he waived the privilege by testifying at the start. I'm going to give you one more opportunity to comply with the law. Limited to the period of your pardon, at any point between January 1st, 2014 and January 19th, 2025, did you destroy any federal record or tell anyone else to?
Under the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Given that you have a unlimited presidential pardon, what is your specific objection that you are making?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
My question was limited to the period of your pardon only. I find your objection unsupported and direct you to answer the question.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Because you refuse to answer, citing a privilege that is unsupported because of your pardon, and after being denied to do so, this committee has scheduled a vote next week on a resolution certifying your contempt. I think we have.
Yep. So we know it happened. We know they voted. We'll find out more as we go along.
There was a report that you told donors that they need to get J.D. Vance elected in 2028. Is that your official endorsement?
No. It's. I heard about it a little while ago. I think he's great, but we're way too early to even be thinking about that. Okay.
And Mr. President, there was a report that you told donors.
Yeah. I'm not going to say that I'm going to throw my weight behind J.D. Vance yet. I think that it would be fair to give it time and see how things go. See how he does on the fraud committee or being the head of the fraud. You know, basically, he's the fraud czar now, right? You know, Kamala Harris was the border czar and J.D. Vance is the fraud czar. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. the things that we're learning, that we're seeing, that we're understanding, and we're seeing where our money's going, where it's gone, and hope to get it back. Hope to get it back. All right.
Do you think the DOJ should prosecute Dr. Fauci?
Well, you know, they prosecuted Peter Navarro and they prosecuted Steve Bannon, two very decent people, over something that essentially was never prosecuted before. And there are sort of telltale signs of similarity. And they went to jail for a number of months over something that I saw one of the analysts said they used to laugh at it in the Justice Department when something like that was referred. But Merrick Garland prosecuted two very decent people and sent them to jail. I wasn't president. I would have given them a pardon in 2 seconds, but I wasn't. This was after I left. They waited till after I left, and then they prosecuted these two people, and they ought to be ashamed of themselves. So when you see that happen, you sort of say maybe he should. What he did is far more serious than a lot of crimes, frankly. But they prosecuted two people when nothing like that has ever taken place before.
Yeah. How about that? How about that? Yeah. So, and let's start here first. So, for our great Republican senators, friends of mine, all, please be advised that the Communist and Democrat Senate candidate from Michigan, Abdul Rahman Mohammed El Said is touting as perhaps his single most important point the termination of the filibuster. I watched yesterday and he's gone termination crazy. If he succeeds, the Democrats will gain 4 senators, 8 congressmen, many electoral and popular votes, stacked Supreme Court with 23 justices, and I will be, sadly, despite the great job we're doing, the last Republican president, President Donald J. Trump. Yeah, he's right. He's right. But let's go here. Abdul Rahman Mohammed Al Said wants to terminate the filibuster, and so do I. At least we have something in common. Yeah. How about that? And then let's see.
But we're doing some unbelievable business. Chips will have a big percentage of the chip business by the time I leave office, which could be a long time. Who knows? But it could also be fairly quick. They say 2.5 years. We're going to find out. But I just want to say that it's an honor to have worked with a very smart group of people.
Yeah. So the chip manufacturers, there's like 4 plants that are going to be opening up here in the United States. I believe one of them is going to be in, there's going to be one in Pennsylvania, one in, I believe, Alabama or Georgia, and then 2 in the Midwestern states, like in the middle of the country. I believe he was talking Iowa or possibly Nebraska. But Nebraska, that is a heck of a freaking drive. Fuck, Montana, going across Montana and going across Nebraska are about identical in the amount of time that you have to drive. The difference is that Montana is mountainous highway, but Nebraska, it's like you got some hills, but that's about it. You don't really have any mountains that you're driving through, and it is a long drive. It's like six hours across the state, if I'm not mistaken, 6 or 8 hours. I don't remember. It's been a while since I drove. The last time I drove out was when actually I drove out when my sister Erin got married, which was the year after my mom passed. Yeah, it was a heck of a drive too. it's a Baron had passed, and my first Baron, he had passed, and I ended up with Mirda, and that was she was a nutcase dog, but she was really good. As soon as you put her harness on her, she went right to work. But as soon as you took that thing off, she was a total knucklehead. You just get into all kinds of trouble. All right. Libs TikTok says LBGTQ therapist Remington Yap arrested for allegedly raping a 17-year-old transgender client. The thing that never happened again. And this is kind of ridiculous. You know, he's a psychotherapist that is taking advantage of these kids who are lost. You know, yeah, it's crazy. So let's take a listen.
Same fundamental work. This belief had immediate.
This is a history of the Jews, 1866. Why is the world so obsessed with the Jews? The country received the name of Palestine. I am after reading that it was called Judea from Judah. I want to know more about these guys. Judea, Palestine, or the Holy Land. So I got some interesting books. Actually called Phoenicia. I like to start out by saying I'm not suicidal and I'm very healthy. This is the complete works of Flavius Josephus. Josephus was a Jewish historian born in 37 AD, a couple years after Jesus was crucified. He died in 100 AD and wrote a lot of pivotal works. This is an 1872 print containing the biography of Flavius Josephus, Antiquities of the Jews, and Wars of the Jews. From Antiochus Epiphanes taking Jerusalem to the death of Herod the Great, the emperor who ordered the innocent of the massacres in Matthew. He tried to kill baby Jesus. Antiquities was written in 94 AD and Wars of the Jews in 75 AD. Josephus is an interesting character because his mother was nobility. He was captured by the Romans in 67 AD, but his life was spared when he predicted the election of Vespasian as emperor. Some think he was a Roman plant. Other people think he was a great historian. This is A History of the Jews, Volume 3, 1866 by Henry Hart Millman. He was a doctor of divinity and professor in England. I'm most excited about these because they contain information on the Essenes, an obscure religious sect that Jesus was a part of. Notice, habits described, persecuted by the Romans, obscurity of their origin. Why is the world so obsessed with the Jews? Ever since seeing that color map of Palestine in the Bible, I've been wondering if they didn't get twisted back then and we're persecuting God's chosen people, the Palestinians, nigh to death, while the plant has been ruling the world. Why are we obsessed with this small, obscure strip of land in the Middle East? It makes no sense to me, but I figure if I go back about 150 years to Flavius Josephus and Henry Hart Millman, I'm going to find out the answer. And soon, I'm going to put them online so you can read them too. And once again, not suicidal at all. I have nothing against the Jews. I'm just extremely curious. And we all know curiosity killed the cat.
Joe Fells is his name, and he's got a Joe Fells account on, I believe that's on Instagram. I'm not positive though. It's I don't know what these are. This is why they took him out. I didn't know he died. Wouldn't doubt it. Yeah. So let's see, that's more citizenship stuff. And we already saw that one. And then this is Fauci's wife's response to her husband being found in contempt of Congress. Yeah. You'll probably end up in prison too, lady. But this guy's got some curiosity running.
Did the Pentagon hide that the human body can regenerate itself in under 48 hours for 61 years? Insiders claim that in 1965, a classified research program inside the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, aka DARPA, confirmed something that would destroy the entire pharmaceutical industry overnight. Human tissue, including nerve cells, organ tissue, and spinal cord fibers, can fully regenerate when exposed to a precise electromagnetic frequency window between 7.83 hertz and the 14.1 hertz. The project was codenamed Operation Lazarus. They tested it on 214 soldiers with catastrophic battlefield injuries, burns, severe tendons, and shattered vertebrae. 94% of subjects showed complete tissue regeneration within 36 to 48 hours. Bone fractures healed in 4 days instead of 6 weeks. Nerve damage previously considered permanent reversed entirely, and 2 paraplegic soldiers regained full mobility within 11 days. The lead scientist, Dr. Robert O. Becker, later published fragments of this research in his book, The Body Electric, and, of course, was immediately stripped of all federal funding, blacklisted from every university, and erased from medical history. Here is what they classified. Your DNA would then not be a fixed code, but a receiver. Every strand of your DNA operates as an antenna. It receives and transmits electromagnetic information. When your body is exposed to the correct frequency, your DNA activates repair sequences that mainstream medicine says are impossible. The 7.83 hertz, aka the Schumann resonance, which is the Earth's electromagnetic resonance, activates stem cell production. 10.5 hertz triggers full body cellular regeneration, and the 14.1 hertz repairs neurological damage and restores synaptic connections. Your body was designed to heal itself. They just turned off the signal. Why? Well, maybe because a cured patient is a customer lost. Remember, the global pharmaceutical industry generates $1.48 trillion every year. Every dollar depends on just one lie: that the human body cannot heal itself without chemical intervention with pills that create side effects. In other words, new diseases. If true, Operation Lazarus would then prove that this is false, already back in 1965. The claim is that this is not just a theory, but documented Pentagon research. Of course, Google or AI won't budge on this one. So, you let me know what you think. Could frequency healing be the future of medicine? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Don't forget who loves you, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Frequency. Oh, speaking of frequency, I need a particular frequency right now. I do. I do. I need a particular frequency. And I'll be back with you in a minute after I get done frequencying myself outside. I'll be right back.
What's right now? Yeah. Hey. What's right now? You walk in the room with a smile on your face, but your mind's racing all over the place. Got 1,000 things running through your head, and you know you ought to slow it down instead. Well, don't just grab the first jar you see. There's a little bit of science to the THC. Take a minute, breathe, don't rush somehow. Ask yourself what's right now. Do you need to chill? Do you need some sleep? Do you need a relief that's nice and deep? Do you need a snack? Do you need a grin? Let's figure out where to begin. What's right now? What's your body say? Hey. Are you winding down at the end of the day? Hey. Northern Lights if you're ready for bed. Bubba Kush if your battery's dead. Dos when the aches hang around. Blue cheese if you're still moving around. Hey. Everybody's different somehow. So what's right now? Northern Lights says turn down the speed. Let your busy little brain be free. Tie an Afghani on a sleepy ride, like a warm blanket by your side. Then Bubba Kush walks through the door, says, buddy, you ain't working anymore. It's the melt into the couch parade. Cancel your chores that you already made. Need some comfort, need some peace. Need those busy thoughts to cease. Don't overthink, don't wear a frown. Listen when your body's talking now. What's right now? What's your body say? Hey. Are you winding down at the end of the day? Northern Lights if you're ready for bed. Bubba Kush if your battery's dead. Dos when the aches hang around. Blue cheese if you're still moving around. Hey. Everybody's different somehow. So what's right now? Dos says I got your back. When your muscles start to crack, blue cheese says grab a little bite, but still keep dancing through the night. Slow reaction, dry mouth too. Keep some water close to you if your heart starts racing fast. Take it easy, let it pass. Everybody's chemistry works a little differently. What's right now? Listen to yourself. Not every jar belongs on everybody's shelf. Some are sleepy, some are light, some are daytime, some are night. Take it slow and you'll find out how to choose what's right now. Oh, what's right now. Hey, everybody's different somehow. So what's right now? Hey, hey, ask your body what's right now. Hey.
All right. Yeah, I'm back with you. Yeah, I just had to step out for a minute and do the thing that we do. You know how that goes. You know how that goes. You know how it goes. It comes, it goes. As you get older, it goes more often. It's like, wow, I just drank that. And it's like, how's that going through me all the way this time? Yeah. All right. So, McKinney, Texas is in trouble. Muslim man advocating for the massive Islamic mosque to be built tells everyone protesting that you're wasting your time here today. I want you to hear what he says. This is, first off, let's go here.
So, and every McKinney resident here this evening, my name is Ashley Marie, and I'm asking you to do one clear thing. Uphold your oath. The integrity of this council is compromised. We are seeing it in real time with the McKinney Airport and now this evening. We are watching the same failure play out again tonight. You were elected to serve the people of this city. Instead, you have chosen to be complicit. You hide behind your city attorney while refusing real oversight. No city attorney has the authority to relieve you of your duty to uphold the Constitution. If your attorney is advising you otherwise, you need a new one. This body no longer acts like a government of the people, and that is the record. When a city council stops answering to the people have a duty to act. That starts with establishing an independent inspector general for the city of McKinney, one that provides ongoing oversight. And if this body continues to forget it is a government for the people, then it's time to start organizing a recall on every member who has chosen cowardice and silence accountability. Tonight, you still have a choice. You can begin restoring trust, or you can continue proving that this council no longer works for the people of McKinney. That same Constitution you have been advised not to uphold protects us from a tyrannical government, and we the people shall not be infringed. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Marie.
So, basically, they did some stupid shit, but take a listen to this guy. He thinks he's got it all wrapped up.
Good night, Council. My name is Abdul Rahman Asif, and I'm proud to say that I'm a born and raised Texan. I went to school in New Jersey, and so after coming back, I'm proud to say I'm a born and raised Texan. There's a lot that's been spoken about so far, and I don't want to be another person that reads off of a paper that was probably written by ChatGPT. So what I will tell you is that I am in support of the mosque's plan for the development plan. And I want to remind you as well that the Planning and Zoning Committee unanimously agreed and they voted in support of said plan. I've noticed throughout this duration, I've been listening attentively for 4 hours. What I will say is that we have wasted our time today. we have wasted our precious time. And I speak as well to the audience behind me. I ask you, what issue is it that your children are facing? What issue is it that your grandchildren are facing? I will tell you this as somebody who has graduated from a college recently in this country. We are struggling to find work. We are struggling to fend for ourselves. Yet our tax money and our time is being wasted on discussing an issue that has already been decided by the Constitution. An issue that has already been decided by the state itself, right? We believe in church and state. Well, I heard some people quoting the Bible rather than the state, so I'm not sure if they do, but myself, I do. And the state has said explicitly in the Religious Land Use and Institutionalized Persons Act, a national statute, it states that no government shall impose or implement a land use regulation in a manner that treats a religious assembly or institution on less than equal terms with a non-religious assembly or institution. I ask that on this auspicious night, you remember what our state says and you uphold that. Thank you, council members.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Kids using our own Constitution against us. Just saying. And then, and we don't put this one up. So this is armored vehicles moved through Iraq as Saudi warns of IRGC attack. Armored tactical vehicles have been spotted moving through Iraq amid growing fears of a possible attack on Saudi Arabia. Saudi intelligence is warning of coordination between the IRGC, Iraqi militias, and Popular Mobilization Forces, PMF, and the Houthis to prepare strikes against the Saudis. I have a feeling this isn't going to go well for everybody. But, what do I know? John Solomon. Let's see here. Oh, that's not the one, no. Let's see. Is the one for that one. Trump declines to back Thune for another term as the Senate Majority Leader. President Trump has declined to back GOP Senator John Thune for another term as Senate Majority Leader. In an interview with Punchbowl News published Friday, Trump, when asked whether he would back the South Dakota lawmaker getting reelected for another term as the chamber's top Republican, and he didn't say said he didn't want to get into that subject. Trump, in roughly 30-minute interview, also criticized the filibuster, as he's done for years, and he said that he wants Thune to put the budget resolution to unlock reconciliation to a vote, even if it doesn't have the votes to pass. Thune said late Thursday that he intends to hold a vote on the motion to proceed to the budget resolution, which at this point is likely to fail. The president also wants to see who would vote against the election security measure known as the SAVE Act, which may be put to a vote on Friday. I want to see the people put both Republican and Democrat who vote against, because mostly it's Democrats, Trump told Punchbowl. I don't know a whole lot about Punchbowl, but there's this and that. So and then there's this one here also, and this is through Just the News. New evidence further undermines claim that the 2020 election was the most secure in history. Declassified documents, other evidence reveal that despite official assurances of a secure 2020 election, government agency possessed intelligence regarding significant security vulnerabilities, foreign data breaches, and manipulation risks. After several batches of documents were recently declassified and released by the White House, the American people now have more evidence than ever that while officials claim 2020 was a historically secure election, the government had plenty of evidence of security vulnerabilities, hacks, and foreign interference. Shortly after the election, senior government officials insisted that it was the most secure in history, deflecting concerns about security, including about voting systems and mail-in ballots. One of the lead government officials responsible for election security, Chris Krebs, the then director of the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, as we know it, testified to the Senate after the election that he had approved an assessment that said 2020 election was the most secure in history. However, after the new batches of documents were declassified and released this summer by the White House, Americans have more evidence than ever. Sorry. I gotta get a drink. All right. So basically, this just talks about everything that we already knew, but it's just now being reported on a more major level. Is basically what it all boils down to. And then let's go here.
He's been pretty pointed on this, Thune. He says he doesn't see a pathway to 50, 51, doesn't have 60. Democrats aren't voting for it. What's the disconnect between you and Thune?
Well, we have no disconnect. I think we have a good relationship, but I view that as a very important thing. It's voter ID. If you just even take the ballots out of it, the ballots are very important, but we do that another time. Voter ID, and it's proof of citizenship. And I figure you can't get any more basic than that. In other words, we want to see your citizenship. We want to make sure that you're a citizen to vote. We like photo ID just to make sure, because the elections are rigged in this country. The elections are a mess in this country. And that was proven in 2020, and it's been proven elsewhere. Look at the recent election that took place with the Spencer Pratt in Los Angeles. All of a sudden, they came from nowhere. It looked like he was in the runoff, or easily in the runoff. The other one was, the third place was a woman nobody ever heard of. She's crying. Oh, I didn't make it. She didn't make it by a lot. All of a sudden, she surged. Unknown people don't surge. And she surged after the election was over. And she ended up getting in the runoff. He didn't. Look, we're like a third world country in many cases, in many states, third world country. So I think that I think it's very important. Save America Act is a very important thing. John's trying. He's trying hard. I really believe that. But if he doesn't get there, it would be unfortunate.
He says, why don't you get the votes for it?
Well, I can probably do that. But I have a couple of people that I won't do so well with. You understand why, right? They're no longer in power as soon as they leave on January 20th.
Should he put it up for a vote either way?
Yeah, I would, because I'd like to see the people that want to vote against it. I want to see the people, both Republican and Democrat, who vote against, because mostly it's Democrats. We have most Republicans, in all fairness. We'll have a few. We'll be, like a couple short, or maybe one short, which we shouldn't be any. What Republican is going to vote against it?
I could tell you there's a couple.
I know the ones you have to tell me. I know the ones, and I find it hard to believe. But you have all the Democrats are going to vote against it. Every Democrat is going to vote against it.
They have 5 times, to be clear.
Well, they do it over and over, and I think it should pay a price during the election, for the election. Every single Democrat is opposed, but not only that, they're opposed to even the great big beautiful bill. I like the term better than the one. I like the great better than the one. But the great big beautiful bill is something that they all voted against, every single one of them. So they voted against, no tax on tips, and they voted against Social Security, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime, car loan deductions, all these things, these incredible things. They voted against everything. They vote against transgender all the time, the mutilization of your children. They vote against open border. They vote in favor of open borders. They vote totally in favor of open borders. These people, it's the craziest thing. So I like having their hands go up voting against all of these things. But when you vote against, as an example, when you vote against the Save America Act, you're voting against fair voting. And when you think that they're voting against citizenship, I want to see a citizenship. These are things that nobody can understand. When they're voting against photo ID, And, it was very interesting because in New York the other day, they were talking about the food store. You see, they want to be licensed. They want you to be licensed in order to buy a loaf of bread. Maybe the same things also in New York. And these are people absolutely don't want anything having to do with elections. In other words, you can just walk in no matter who you are. But when it came to shoveling snow, did you see that? You had to get 2 forms of identification to get licensed to shovel snow. But to go in and vote, you don't need anything. No, it's no good.
Simple. Very simple. And I guess that's the punch bowl because there's the punch bowl up there. Yeah. All right. Then we got Ashley Moody, Senator.
There are 2 bills at the desk due for a second reading en bloc.
The leader is correct. The clerk will read the titles of the bills for a second time en bloc.
S-5271, a bill to amend the Help America Vote Act of 2002 to require voters to provide photo identification. H.R. 7008, an act to amend Chapter 131 of Title V to require certain restrictions on stocks for members of Congress and their spouses and dependents and for other purposes.
Madam President, in order to place the bills on the calendar under the provisions of Rule 14, I would object to further proceeding en bloc.
Objection having been heard, the bills will be placed on the calendar under the provisions of Rule 14.
And Madam President, I have 4 requests.
No, you can go ahead.
I have 4 requests for committees to meet during today's session of the Senate.
So she's pushing it. Ashley Moody is her name. She's a Republican out of Florida, senator. Walks out onto the Senate floor and files to pass voter ID. Here we go. All right. So let's go here first because we want the context of the story. All right, more trans violence. 3 individuals have been charged with murder in Ohio after a 7-year-old boy was found dead inside a home. Caitlin Evans, the boy's mother, was arrested alongside Kirby Rankin and Nessa Keeney, 2 men pretending to be women. Detectives say the boy was subject to severe beatings, burning, choking, and water torture. The thing they say never happened again. And but the news doesn't tell you the truth. They say 3 people facing charges for the death of young boy in Oakley. 3 women are now facing charges in connection with Evans. Cincinnati police say 3 women. Cincinnati WKRC, 3 women were arraigned Friday morning on murder and child endangerment. And then police suspect Oakley child death followed 2 months of abuse. Bond was set at $1.1 million for 3 women facing murder and child endangerment charges. What's going on here? It's absolutely clear that this is a dude, okay, and this is a dude. Just saying. All right, then we got this.
A massive ICE operation led to the arrest of over 1,200 illegal migrants. Over 700 of them had either been convicted or charged with crimes in the U.S. Take a look at just some of those arrested with criminal histories, including sexual battery, aggravated assault, domestic violence, and cruelty to children. Here for that Fox and Friends exclusive is the head of ICE's Enforcement and Removal Operations, the ERO division, is Marcos Charles. Marcos, thanks for joining us. Tell us about this Georgia operation and what it netted.
Morning, Griff. Thanks for having me on the show. Look, as you said, we arrested over 1,200 illegal aliens out in the Atlanta, Georgia area. More than half of those people had criminal histories. And as you said, we're talking about sex crimes, assault and battery, some with DUI convictions, even domestic violence. These individuals needed to be taken off the street, not only because they're criminals, but because they're here illegally in the United States. I'm very proud of the men and women of ICE ERO that are out there on the streets every day making these arrests and keeping our community safe. It was a tremendous success out in the Georgia area. The majority of these arrests were in the Atlanta suburbs and city, but these arrests were going on throughout the state. And not just that, I mean, this one operation, as I said, was a great success. However, every day the men and women of ICRO were out in the streets across the nation enforcing the immigration laws as set forth by Congress. So we're keeping the community safe.
Yeah.
We're going to be traveling all over the United States doing the same thing.
Yep. And watch the rents go down. Watch the rents go down. I was looking at some stuff the other day, and it was talking about rents in certain areas, and in an area that a 1-bedroom apartment went for about $500, and that actually included heat and hot water. Okay, that included heat and hot water. All right, but you did have to pay the water bill. You know, that was, you know, and the electric bill, but it was gas heat, and it was pretty regulated, and it was affordable. You know, well, that same place that was going for, you know, 500, you know, back in like 2004, is now going for I'd say probably around $3,200 a month. $3,200 for a 1-bedroom, $3,900 to $4,800 for a 2-bedroom. In some of these places, it's ridiculous. I'm telling you, as you know, when houses get empty because illegals no longer fill them, rents go down because these people need to get their houses. You know, they need to have their houses filled. The housing market changes because of that. And it's going to happen. It's going to happen. As we watch this whittling down, you know, you figure if they're doing 1,600 to 1,800 a day, you know, it'll only take them about 2.5 more years to get that done. Yeah. So, let's see. Broad Roundtable. Here we go. Newsmax.
Pennsylvania Congressman Dan Muser was alongside the Vice President at that roundtable. He joins us now. Great to see you this morning, Congressman. So as chair of the Subcommittee on Oversight and Investigations, I know you released a major report on fraud just a few weeks ago. What are some of the solutions you brought to this week's meeting with the Vice President? Where do we go from here?
Charlotte, good morning, Kyle. Yes, the president, Vice President J.D. Vance didn't have to encourage me or any of us because we've actually been working on this, but I hand it to him for bringing us all together, and we really had an extremely productive meeting. Look, the fraud is extensive. You mentioned $200 billion. It literally could be as much as 10 to 15% of our overall spend. That gets into the neighborhood of almost $1 trillion. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. And it's so important that we are zeroing in on this. And yes, I've been working on codifying some of the president's executive orders and some of the work of JD's task force for a while now. We're going to increase penalties. You know, right now, Charlotte, you could basically steal over $1 million from the American taxpayer and get 6 months in jail. That's almost a good deal for some of these thieves.
Wow.
Right. We're working on transcontinental criminal organizations because some of this is coming from overseas. We're following the money. Actually, we're trying to get ahead of the money through FinCEN and again, codifying, legislating penalties, more authority for the attorney generals, more requirement for state attorney generals, and making sure we have the resources at the FBI, FinCEN, and all of the telecom engaging all the telecom companies, the social media companies, because the consumer scamming is very prevalent and very serious as well. So we're not going to stop. This has really become my top priority with JD and the others there. We had the Senate, we had the House. We're gonna make a difference. You know, the shame of it is, sadly and unfortunately, the Democrats are actually fighting us on this. So you know why? Because in Philadelphia, let me finish with this. In Philadelphia, Medicare and Medicaid fraud went from payment went from $108 million in 2019 to over $8 billion in 2025,
Unreal.
and nobody did a thing. The DA there is a mess, Krasner. The AG at the time, who's our current governor, did nothing. The governor at the time and now our current governor did nothing. They're either turning their way, they're either incompetent, or they feel this is positive for their base and for their their election goals.
Yeah.
So
Congressman,
it's going to change.
I would love to get your thoughts on the rise of socialism in the Democrat Party. We just saw Abdul El Sayed win the Michigan Senate primary. Now, Francesca Hong, who wants to end Thanksgiving, appears to be poised to be the Democratic nomination for governor in Wisconsin. I mean, how do you see these nominations or potential nominations affecting the midterms? And does it put Republicans in a better position for Election Day?
You know, I think so, and I hope so, but it's up to us. You know, the saying, hope's not a strategy. We got to get the message out that they are socialist communists. They jumped all the way to literally being communists. This Chris Rabb, who I've met a couple of times, I mean, he's as far left. He's a communist. He wants to defund the police. He wants to defund ICE. He wants to change the Constitution. They want to stack the court. They want to eliminate the Senate. They want to command planning, central planning for our economy. I mean, that's Soviet Union. That's Soviet style governing. It's not even governing. It's tyranny. So they want free everything. That's what they're selling. They're selling easy. They're selling free. And somehow or another, that's being attractive to a large portion of their base, the base that's turning out to vote. I mean, they voted in this Chris Rabb, for instance. We saw in Michigan that they voted in someone who's basically a communist. So we got to get the truth out as to how equal opportunity is what we need. You're not going to get equal outcomes. Equal outcomes is socialism. And by the way, if any of them ever went to school or paid attention in school, socialism has never worked.
It's never worked. I was just
going
to say that, Congressman. Always great having you with us. Thank you for taking the time on this Friday.
Hey, Charlie, take care. Great seeing you.
Information. A little bit of news, Max. Yep. So, and then there's this from Fox.
Dear Diary, they have my phone. Days after his diary leaked, Ron Johnson got a copy of the Fauchmeister's cell. Every text, every email, every meme, every video, every voicemail, every LOL. This is going to be good. But relax, the doc says. AutoPen gave me the golden pardon, remember? I'm bulletproof. No. The pardon stops federal prosecutions. State charges aren't covered. So that phone could land on the desk of every red state attorney general in the country. And it's all admissible. 17 states are already circling. Florida's even got a subpoena out. They're following the money. They say Fauci cashed in and, book deals, awards, grants, while he knew his pandemic policies were BS. And now it's official. Rand Paul's committee voted to hold Tony Fauci in contempt for stonewalling the Senate, taking the fifth over 100 times. Now, once you got a pardon, the fifth doesn't apply. You can't incriminate yourself for crimes you can't be charged for. So hiding behind the fifth isn't a right, it's obstruction.
As far as pleading the fifth when you have a pardon, all you have to do is tell the truth, just not commit a new crime. But if we were to grant him immunity from telling the truth, of what value, would his testimony be? So I think the American people do deserve to know this.
What's a fully pardoned man so afraid to say? All Anthony had to do was tell the truth, but he took the fifth anyway. So today, the referral went straight to the DOJ, DC division. Guess whose desk it landed on? The judge. You really think Judge Janine lets Tony walk? Even CNN's like, yeah, the little guy's cooked.
This is real. I mean, the stakes here for Dr. Fauci could potentially be, depending what DOJ decides, a criminal indictment and prosecution.
Now, the referral isn't a conviction. The DOJ still has to take it to a grand jury and get an indictment. And Democrats insist the Fifth still protects him. Now, if convicted, fines and up to a year in prison. But for a guy who was supposed to be untouchable, the walls feel like they're closing in. Because it's not just Washington circling now, it's everybody. The country's done taking Tony's word for it. And obviously, this was never just about a diary or a phone. It's about a man who may be partly responsible for a virus that killed 1 million Americans, who covered that up and who crushed the country with made-up regulations that ripped up our rights and our humanity. Does he even care? Well, Fauci was seen taking out the trash today at his $2.5 million D.C. home, and he sped away with his wife. He let her drive, and she took one hand off the wheel to give the finger to reporters. A lot of people trusted Tony, and they got hurt.
And we were told, hey, you ain't going to get COVID if you do that. And I got COVID. And damn it almost killed me.
Missouri Senator Josh Hall.
Yeah. A lot happening there. A whole lot. I think it's going to be more. White House President Donald J. Trump is taking historic action to protect the value of American citizenship by ending the practice of birth tourism. The privilege of the United States citizenship is priceless. Yeah. So President Trump got 6 SCOTUS judges trapped. Okay. The 6 cited the 14th Amendment to rule on birthright citizenship. The 14th Amendment is the demise of anyone that took an oath of office. Now Trump signs an executive order to end birthright citizenship. Yep. So it's pretty, yeah. So Section 215A of the Immigration and Naturalization. Yeah. So Red Pill Drifter said, remember when satellite imagery showed multiple fires starting at the exact same time, miles apart in Canada? I'd like to see the satellite imagery over Spokane. Remember this? Remember that? I remember that. And then this is kind of weird. This is New York City Creek. Okay. This is a creek. It looks more like a freaking river, but they call it creek. It's kind of weird. Kind of weird, eh? Yeah. Kind of weird. Man with 14 prior arrests taken into custody after live streaming himself randomly attacking white women in Charlotte, North Carolina. This kid is definitely got some serious mental health issues.
21st, say you like him. Say you like him. Elijah, my son. Motherfucker, you playing? Motherfucker, you playing? Fuck you, blue, nigga. Fuck you, blue. These fucking glasses, that's what you do? Talking? You still talking? July 21st, say you like him. Say you like him. Elijah, my son. Motherfucker.
This is crazy. Going around and attacking women all over the place. Let's see. Is the video here? There we go. So this is the guy right here. Yeah. CMPD has taken Dequan Shafar Hunt, The random Dilworth attack suspect in the custody hunt has an extensive criminal record. Police say the female victim from last Thursday's attack suffered serious but non-life-threatening injuries. He's being evaluated at a medical facility. It's kind of bullshit. The guy needs to be in prison. Everybody wants to contribute everything to mental illness, and it's not. It's not that. It's.
So with that McDonald's shit. What? So with that McDonald's shit, bitch. You wanna run, bitch? You wanna run, motherfucker? Huh? I bet you run again, motherfucker. I bet you run again, motherfucker. You said something else? You said something? You said something, motherfucker? You said something? You playing, nigga. You playing, nigga. You fucking playing, nigga. What's up with that McDonald's shit? You Donald Trump, motherfucker, and that other motherfucker who raped my son Elijah, I'ma fucking kill you, nigga. Give a fuck, nigga. You heard what the fuck I said, motherfucker. Shut the fuck up, nigga. Huh? Shut the fuck up, nigga.
Wow. Yeah. We don't have to live like this. We don't have to live like this. We don't. We just need to take our country back. Violent predators belong in prison, period. No other place for them other than the graveyard or prison, one or the other. So, and then we got this.
They created a monster and now they can't control it. And right now is going to be up to Republicans to answer the call again. Our party was founded to stand up against slavery and hold our nation together. And now in this day, we are being called upon to stand up against socialism and hold our state and our nation together. We are going to fight to make sure that the extremists that I fought over in Iran and over in Iraq are not going to be able to come and change our republic and strip our constitution away from our families and our futures. Go to johnjamesmi.com and learn why Michigan is the front line for the republic in this cycle. They created a monster.
Yep. So John James, Michigan is the front line against socialism. Yep. Our party was founded to stand up against slavery and hold our nation together. And today we're being called upon to stand against socialism and hold our state and our nation together once again. Protect your Constitution. Yeah. And then a little bit on Todd Blanche.
Probably means that Todd Blanche is going to be confirmed maybe even later today as the next Attorney General. As I always say, it's about the math. Once we learned here that Susan Collins a couple of days ago was a no and Lisa Murkowski was a no, it was down to one more Republican senator. Now, Mitch McConnell, the former Senate Majority Leader, he appears back in Washington right now, but he is not voting. And so, it's up to Bill Cassidy. He was the one person who, as he indicated in his floor speech, had been having these conversations, including just before this floor speech this morning with Todd Blanche, and indicated today in that emotional speech that he will vote yes. So by my calculation here, if there's no Democrats who change here and there's no Republicans who change their position, the vote, when they have it, should be 50 to 49, with Mitch McConnell being out, with all Democrats, 2 Republicans voting no, Collins and Murkowski. When might they do this? Well, they were supposed to have a procedural vote on that this morning. They haven't done that yet, but they could do this afternoon. And what we're seeing today overall in the Senate, as I said in my earlier report, is that they're really stepping on the gas.
Yeah. Because they pushed all them nominations and stuff through the other day, and then
Bill Cassidy, Lisa Murkowski are on the fence. You think he's going to be confirmed?
All I can say is that he's a great gentleman. He's a great person. He's great at what he does. Everybody agrees with that. People think he's incredible. If they don't agree to do what they should do, it'll be very sad. And we'll all survive. Todd will survive.
You'll keep him in as acting.
Yeah, sure. He'll be acting.
Yeah.
But why should he be acting when, if he was a marginal, everybody agrees he's fantastic. He's great. He's fair. He's a fair guy, not a radical flamethrower. He's going to be acting. And we'll try it again.
I wonder if you feel any, because a lot of these people who are against him, who have given you trouble on him, are people you endorsed against, right? I mean, you have Cornyn, Cassidy, Murkowski, you kind of
essentially
slag. Yes. Right. So
Murkowski, I was against.
Yeah.
I'm against Murkowski. I think I do more for Alaska than any president in history. No president's done for Alaska what I've done. She's not good.
Do you regret any going against these people? It makes your agenda harder to get through.
Look, I don't regret it. You do what you have to do.
Yeah. Do you want Thune to serve another term as leader?
And just so you understand, they voted to impeach me.
No, I was there. Yeah.
In all fairness, you think that I'm going to support somebody that voted to impeach me?
Yeah, no,
you know what, MAGA, my beautiful MAGA base, the greatest people on earth, you know what they'd do if I voted in favor of somebody that voted to impeach the person that they love and I love them? They would not be happy.
Do you?
They would not be happy. Yeah, and this guy, they caught him. ICE just arrested Jordanian illegal immigrant who had 8 Molotov cocktails in his backpack after Illinois sanctuary authorities released him from custody. Yeah, it's even though ICE lodged a detainer against this illegal alien, sanctuary politicians in Illinois refused to honor it and released him from jail. Fortunately, the brave men and women of ICE tracked him down, arrested him, and took him into custody. By releasing criminals like this onto our streets, Governor Pritzker and his fellow sanctuary of politicians continue putting American lives at risk. Yep. So, and then this came in this morning, just in. Trump wins in court. Federal judge in Massachusetts concedes that DHS can terminate temporary protected status for South Sudan migrants because of the latest Supreme Court ruling. The court concludes that plaintiffs' proposed new claims would be futile and unlikely to succeed. Plaintiffs' motions, therefore, are denied. Yeah, let's fucking go. Send them back. No more barbarians in America. Yeah. All right. And so Murkowski just announced she will not vote to confirm Todd Blanche. More people voted to elect Donald Trump in Alaska in 2024 than voted for her in her last election. Murkowski also refuses to support the Save America Act to secure elections. She is sabotaging Trump's agenda and subverting the will of the voters over her hatred for him. This is why Republicans lose. That's right. I mean, well, you look at the relationship between Feinstein and her. Feinstein used to control her like a little bitch puppet, and it appears that the handlers who handled her are handling her now. Yeah, that's what it seems like. Yeah, and then White House on Instagram put this out. Yeah. Yep. Criminal illegal aliens will be caught and deported. Web slingers. Yep. There we go. That's just for all you Spidey fans out there. All right, let's go here.
I just want to live somewhere where I'm not surrounded by foreigners, not surrounded by people who hate this country and have zero common sense. I don't know what the fuck to do. Where do we go?
I agree with this woman. I too don't want to live next to a bunch of foreigners, but unfortunately for all of us people in America, that is just not the case. It's not even a possibility anymore because of our government. Roughly 1.5 million foreigners obtain lawful permanent residence in America every single year on average. And when you combine all the visas and all the overstays and all the illegal immigration, on average, about 3 million foreigners enter America to stay every single year, and nobody wants that, but our government just keeps allowing it to happen. We're losing our culture, we're losing our identity. Nobody wants this, but it just keeps happening.
I just want to live somewhere where I'm not surrounded by foreigners.
Yeah. She's got a point. He's got a point. Yep. Wall Street Papes. Yep. So a federal appeals court on Friday blocked construction of President Trump's White House ballroom in a 2-1 vote. 3-judge panel in D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that President Trump lacks the authority to move forward with construction without approval from Congress. Well, we'll see what happens there. I'm not too worried about it. But here's Steve Hilton on a little more on,
Standing next to a large mock wanted poster with Becerra's face on it, Hilton once again alleged migrant abuse by Becerra. Hilton criticized Becerra's handling of a surge of unaccompanied migrant children during his time as U.S. Health and Human Services Secretary under President Biden. During the event in Fresno, Hilton claimed Becerra put pressure on his agency to get children out of the crowded shelters and, in fast-tracking the process, remove crucial vetting of adult sponsors who took custody of the children. Today, Hilton introduced another child who alleges he was threatened with deportation and retaliation against his family after being released to sponsors through the federal system.
Becerra not only failed to protect the children in his care, he actively put them at risk of child sex trafficking, at risk of child labor exploitation, at risk of simply disappearing.
He's bringing it all out on the table. Yeah. And then Axios, no escape inside Rubio's Cuba pressure campaign. Yep. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is waging an unprecedented economic war on Cuba and wants to make sure that the island's communist leaders know it's going to get worse. What we're trying to teach them is there are no escape valves, Rubio told Axios. Why it matters, Cuba's economy is in a state of slow motion collapse because of crushing U.S. sanctions and communist mismanagement of the island, which prides itself as the hemisphere's chief foe of the superpower 90 miles north. President Trump hasn't ruled out military action. Zoom in. Since last year, Trump administration has taken 24 separate actions to pressure Cuba. The quantity and the extent of the penalties are unique. Sanctioning 40 entities from foreign companies operating on the island to Cuba's state-run fuel, banking, and mining conglomerates. Targeting at least 38 people with economic sanctions, U.S. visa limitations, and residency revocations, pressuring other countries to stop supporting Cuba's doctor export program, which the State Department calls human trafficking, issuing reports attacking Cuba over its human rights record, its failure to fight terrorism, and its role in amplifying and assisting anti-capitalist and anti-U.S. policy or political activity. The big picture, because of the pressure campaign, Cuba is now a de facto renegade colony of the U.S., upon which it now relies for most of its food, fuel, medicine, and currency, all of which are scarce on the island. Cuba's prime minister made a historic announcement Tuesday saying the government was allowing more private sector activity than since the revolution of 1959, the Miami Herald reported. Rubio told Axios that Cuba is playing for time by faking reforms while seeking ways to evade sanctions. Every time they create a new mechanism in which they try to get out of the news, we just close it off, Rubio said. They certainly can't wait us out. Certainly, this isn't going to go away for the next 2.5 years. Behind the scenes, foreign companies are fleeing Cuba amid the threat of sanctions. U.S. companies, especially fuel distributors, are moving in as enterprises such as Cuban state-run oil company crumble under the pressure. It's creating a nascent capitalist black market. One businessman involved in the fuel trade said some Cuban businesses have even sent human mules to Miami, dripping in heavy gold chains to use as currency because U.S. banking restrictions make financial transactions with Havana impossible. In the first 6 months of the year, U.S. fuel exports to Cuba jumped to 96 million. more than half of which was in June as the economic forces take their toll, according to the nonprofit U.S.-Cuba Trade and Economic Council. So Cuba's so Rubio's on him. Nice interview or nice write up there. Axios. Sorry, I couldn't go through all of it. We'd be here another 2 hours by the time I get done reading your stuff. And then we got Bannon on this.
Right, totally agreed. It's a national security and sovereignty crisis, and it's a liberty crisis because the founding of this nation was done in order to secure the sovereignty of the citizens over the law so that we would not be ruled by tyrants ever. And so it's not just a national security issue, it's a national philosophy issue and a personal liberty issue. But let me tell you something really great, Steve, because actually I've been working for over a year and a half. I've been meeting with the U.S. Attorney in the Northern District of New York, John Sarcone, an American patriot, and his FBI field office. And they have been already validating pilot studies that we did using this exact methodology, the exact same process we used to study the Mamdani election, we already used to study the 2024 election. And they validated all of our outputs. They said, you're right. And John Sarcone himself called me and said, Marley, get me more. And I want to tell you, the outcome of this audit is not more audits. If it's true, and the U.S. Attorney agrees that the New York City and New York State boards of elections have certified an election with 23% fake votes, that's a federal crime. And in 1941, in 1888, in 1973, the Supreme Court upheld criminal convictions for election officials who certified false tallies because they're not allowed to choose. It is the people who choose. Their job is to sit down, make sure every vote counted is qualified and valid, make sure that counts are real, and certify only legislators and officials who were chosen by the qualified citizens of the United States of America. So I fully expect to see and I know there is currently an aggressive investigation going on into this matter out of Northern District. It's joining into the Southern District. And we could see prosecutions on this. This is not an oops.
This is not an oops. Yeah, just saying. So concerned citizen put this up. He says, so the woman who stabbed 4 people in London yesterday was actually a man pretending to be a woman. Legacy media aren't telling you this part, are now completely burying the story. Yeah. Woman arrested after 4 men stabbed in Covent Garden or Covent Garden. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm just saying, yeah.
Right.
There's a whole lot there. Yeah. All right. So Donald Trump says this morning, says 2 Obama and Biden appellate court judges just voted against the desperately needed military center required for the national security of the Washington, D.C. and our country itself. Highly respected Judge Naomi Rao stated the following key points, among others, in a strongly worded dissent. This is a blatant abuse of discretion. To begin with, the district court had no jurisdiction because the trust has no standing to stop construction at the White House. The balance of equities overwhelming favors the government. The district court elevated the aesthetic displeasure of a single bypasser or passerby over the government's security interests in the ballroom and security risks of leaving an open construction site at the president's home and office. These errors in equitable judgment require vacating the injunction. The district court seized supervision of construction at the White House, and my colleagues affirm this is judicial overreach because the injunction is beyond the proper province of the federal courts. Construction should be allowed to continue. The decision has been stayed and does not take effect for a period of time. We will be immediately appealing to the United States Supreme Court. The military and the Secret Service are viewing this horrendous, politically motivated, and unlawful ruling as a national security threat to our nation, in that the entire complex is being built for the protection of our country and additionally all future presidents. The single integrated project includes bomb shelters, state-of-the-art hospital and medical facilities, protective partitioning, top secret military facilities, secure structures and equipment, protective missile-resistant steel columns, roofs and beams, drone-proof ceilings and roofs, military-grade venting, and a ballistic and blast-proof glass. It is all tied together as one big, expensive, and very complex unit, which is vital for national security and military operations of the United States of America. The circuit court's decision, which is totally wrong on the vital subject of standing, of which the plaintiff has none, severely jeopardizes the lives and the welfare of people who work and will be working at the White House, including all future presidents of the United States and their families, as well as the lives of those visiting, such as heads of state or other dignitaries, and all Americans who wish to visit the historic, beautiful executive mansion. The circuit court also refused to acknowledge that the desperately needed and totally secure ballroom, which is being built ahead of schedule and under budget, is a gift from President Trump and the great patriots of the United States of America. The entire complex, military and all, is largely built, fabricated, and paid for. Much is already on site or being delivered. Why didn't they bring this case long prior to construction starting? There will be no expense to the American taxpayer. This unjust decision must be overturned by the Supreme Court in its entirety. Thank you for your attention to this deeply important national security matter. President Donald J. Trump. Yep. Yep. So,
A million Americans died, and I think they deserve to know the truth. Anthony Fauci has advocated for dangerous gain-of-function research for 2 decades now. The question why is not a question that he can have liability for. He was given a pardon. Interestingly, the pardon starts in 2014. That's when the funding of the lab in Wuhan started. So I think he should answer questions. As far as pleading the fifth when you have a pardon, all you have to do is tell the truth, just not commit a new crime. But if we were to grant him immunity from telling the truth, of what value, would his testimony be?
Just so everyone is aware, the estimated deaths from COVID-19 worldwide is 7.1 million, and some estimates have it all the way up to 36 million. I don't think a pardon should be able to pardon 36 million people dying from a virus that you funded. Anthony Fauci needs to be tried for crimes against humanity.
A million Americans.
Yep. Meanwhile, in New York.
Starting today, terminally ill New Yorkers can now get medical assistance to die. This new law allows healthcare providers to give life-ending medication to patients who qualify. Anyone seeking the drugs must be at least 18 years old, be of sound mind, have a medically confirmed illness that will lead to their death in 6 months or less. They must also be able to give themselves the lethal dose. New York is now the 14th state to legalize medical aid in dying. Starting today, terminally ill.
Welcome to God's plan. Sick. Red Cross deletes documentary pushing Afghan migrant success story after he's arrested for stuffing British aid worker in a suitcase. Yeah, this guy. Oh boy. Yeah. And then there's this.
I voted for Trump. I am saying that they are picking up law-abiding citizens. They're destroying families, jobs.
John Gannon is a 75-year-old businessman and lifelong Republican who supported President Trump in 2024.
I wouldn't do that again. Not after this fiasco.
His fiancée, 45-year-old Venezuelan immigrant Yasmin Suarez Reyes, was detained by ICE at George Bush Intercontinental Airport in Houston in late July.
8 ICE agents swarmed Jasmine and detained her, didn't tell us why, and rustled her off into a car.
When you saw that unfold, what went through your mind?
Well, I was just in total disbelief.
According to her immigration lawyer, Suarez Reyes came to the U.S. legally in 2023 and later applied for asylum, a case that is still ongoing. But her underlying permission to be in the U.S. has lapsed. Some people may say this is what mass deportations look like.
They're not going after the hard guys. That's too difficult. It's easier to pick them up at the airport. You know, it's like shooting fish in a barrel.
Suarez Reyes was arrested as part of a recent crackdown by ICE at airports across the country.
ICE is here, help us!
Back in Texas, Gannon says he deeply misses his fiancée, who remains in ICE custody, facing deportation.
Jasmine's good as gold. Love Jasmine. That's it.
We contacted the Department of Homeland Security about this case, but have yet to hear back. Immigrants like Suarez Reyes would typically not have been targeted for deportation and arrest under prior administrations. But the Trump administration has taken the position that anyone whose immigration status is lapsed is fair game for enforcement.
Well, Jasmine, go the fuck home. Do your paperwork. Yeah. If you loved her so much, you would have made sure that she wouldn't have overstayed by 2 years. If you loved her that much, you'd have done that. It's that simple. A pending immigration application does not confer legal status. Okay? An illegal alien for Venezuelan after she overstayed her lawful admission to the U.S. by over 2 years. Don't be like Yasmin. Take advantage of our CBP home offer and get $2,600 and a free flight home. It's that simple. 2 years. You're living in some big fancy house and everything else, okay? And you got some chickie who's 30 to 40 years younger than you hanging off your nutsack, okay? Sorry, dude. I guess that money you spend on Viagra is out the window now. Out the window. Cry me a flippin' river. Cry me a river. Cry me a river. If we'd gone to any other country and done the crap that they've done, we would have gotten kicked out of those countries. Am I right or am I right? Am I right? I think I'm right. Yeah. We need a safety meeting. We do. Because. Just because. And if you don't like that, well, then don't have a safety meeting with us. Just go to the bathroom and stretch and stuff. We'll be right back.
The nice cream cake, baby. I'm just letting myself be. Yeah. Well, the day's been heavy, I'm not gonna lie. Too many thoughts rolling through my mind. So I grabbed my pipe, took a look around, and told all my worries, y'all can settle down. I ain't running, I I ain't hiding, I just need a little room. Sometimes peace shows up quietly and chases out the gloom. There ain't no emergency, ain't no race. Sometimes you just need a little bit of space. It's an ice cream cake kind of day. Let the heavy drift away. Take a breath, take it slow. Ain't nowhere I gotta go. The world's gonna spin with or without me. I'm just gonna sit right here and let myself be. People ask me, smoke, profit, what's the plan? I say, brother, I'm just one old man. Read a little scripture, watch the clouds roll by. Thank the Lord above for another sunrise. I ain't looking for all the answers, I ain't chasing what's out of reach. Sometimes the quiet says a whole lot more than words can never teach. It's an ice cream cake kind of day. Let the heavy drift away. Take a breath, take it slow. Ain't nowhere I gotta go. The world's gonna spin with or without me. I'm just gonna sit right here and let myself be. Cream cake ain't hard to love. Sweet vanilla drifting on the breeze above. I ain't trying to disappear, I'm just putting my worries in another gear. Life gets loud, that much is true, but I don't have to join in the two. One deep breath and a little smile, and life gets lighter for a while. No sir, I ain't escaping, I ain't hiding from a thing. I'm just slowing down enough to hear the evening sing. The birds still chirp, the wind still blows. Funny how peace shows up when you let life go. It's an ice cream cake kind of day. Sweet vanilla drifting my way. Take a breath, take it slow. Ain't nowhere I gotta go. One old Marine with a grateful smile, just enjoying this a little while. The world can hurry if it wants to race. I'm gonna stay right here in my happy place. It's an ice cream cake kind of day. Well, that's better. Coffee's warm, the sky's looking good, and today's a whole lot lighter than it was an hour ago. That'll do just fine. That'll do just fine.
Yeah. 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 Just throw that out there. Craig and Starsky, thank you both for your donations today. That will go towards my upcoming fuel fund, which is going to be needed before the end of the weekend. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. All right. Scott Bissett.
Vincent has also issued a geographic targeting order for Hennepin and Ramsey counties that require banks and money transmitters to report additional information about funds transferred outside of the United States. This will put a microscope on these businesses, advance prosecutions, and assist in the recovery of funds laundered internationally. Fraudsters in Minnesota stole at least $300 million meant for children in need. Vincent has also.
Yep. So Bissett said that in January, and Yeah, they're following through extensive schemes that fraudulently diverted state and federal dollars meant for people who lack housing or are food insecure, have disabilities, and are otherwise eligible to receive government benefits, costing the state of Minnesota potentially billions of dollars, a portion of which has been laundered overseas. The renewed order will continue to support law enforcement and holding fraudsters accountable. Yep, they're going after them. They're not stopping. So let me get up here to the top real quick because there's a few things here. This here on McDonald's.
McDonald's is warning about what it calls a challenging consumer environment. Sales at its U.S. restaurants from April through June grew at the slowest pace in more than a year. The fast food giant had rolled out this big slate of deals to try to attract diners who are frustrated with high prices. But McDonald's admitted that some of those deals just fell flat. So, for example, it launched an under $3 menu in April. Only about 2/3 of its franchises actually end up offering the menu at suggested prices. McDonald's CEO says all the various promotions that it offered at the same time led to confusion for staff and for customers, adding that it is tough to break through when you have that many messages out there. And we know that these fast food wars have gotten very heated with chains like Burger King, Wendy's, Subway, all offering competing deals. But worth noting, guys, a new AP Norc poll that was out this week found that more than half of Americans have cut down on eating out in order to pay for other necessities, guys.
More than half.
Yeah.
I'd like to cut in here, lady. Give me a second here. Maybe it's something about human DNA being found in the meats, or the fact that the chicken's all glued together, or maybe it's that people do some pretty nasty things to the products, or that we got to deal with retards behind the counter.
All right.
Big number.
All right. Big number indeed, Elizabeth. Thank you.
So McDonald's is saying that people are not coming in because they're confused about the promotions, and that's why their sales are down. So I ran a mock order for a McDonald's in Los Angeles, and this is what the total came to for just a Big Mac combo. It's about $14.35 after tax. And let's just compare that to an actual sit-down place like Chili's. So Chili's in California, that way it's a comparable pricing. And it looks like they have a 3 for Me deal where you can get it for $10.99. That includes a burger, fries, bottomless chips, salsa, and unlimited drink that is non-alcoholic. So I would say that this is probably a much better deal than a $12 plus Big Mac at McDonald's. So maybe this has something to do with it. Maybe it's because the food is full of chemicals and you can literally go to a sit-down place for a cheaper price than going to a McDonald's.
Yep. And the fact that human DNA has been found in the meat. That's pretty nasty too. Yeah. So let's go here.
Historic action toward the future of American mining. For years, mining schools and colleges that are essential to training the future leaders of this industry have been absolutely and sadly disappearing. Accredited mining programs in the United States now graduate less than 170 mining engineers each year, while China graduates more than 3,000, and half of our current mining workforce is set to retire within the next 3 years. Well, that's why my administration is making an unprecedented financial commitment to our nation's mining schools. It's going to keep us nice and young and vibrant. The schools came to us seeking $10 million per year in funding. Instead, I'm thrilled to announce that we're delivering $100 million to train the next generation of American miners, and you have a lot of you are in the room right now.
I think that's pretty cool. Yeah. So let's go back to this one here. I think it's pretty much the same thing, but we'll find out here in a second.
Very, very proud former alumni of the University of Alaska Fairbanks School of Mines. So on behalf of all the faculty here, the students here, I am thrilled with all of your announcements today. I mean, we've all been frustrated over decades. You're making something happen. I really appreciate that. My first mining job was in Alaska, staking the claims near the Ambler District. And we were in a rush then. This was 1975, 1976. And it's still not permits. Thank you for breaking that logjam. I have present to you a gift to the American people on a project that I've been very involved with. It's deep sea nodules. Like you, I'm a fan of gold, and this is a solid gold replica of a deep sea nodule. Now, I wish the nodules down the deep sea had a lot of gold in them that be more attractive, but they do contain 20 critical metals. And these are 20 critical metals that are going to be needed for the reindustrialization of America. They're going to be needed for defense purposes. They're going to be needed for all the technologies that we are relying on, and every single citizen of the United States take for granted. That should be a key part of the supply chain, and that's what mining can do. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I want to go over to BitChute for a minute and see if I can find this. No. And then I got to go here and see. No. Let me see. Oh, I didn't mean to go channels. I meant search videos. Yeah, search videos. Try that. Let's see. Mr. D's. No, that's not him. Do you guys remember that video? The guy wanted a message to Donald Trump in regards to discoveries, hidden treasures. I could have swore it was Mr. D's. I could have swore that was his name. No. Dang nabbit. He was a Canadian kid. He was sitting on the couch and he was talking to. He's the one who he was explaining about the mountain, certain regions of the country or of the Western Hemisphere, with the abilities to find everything from silver and gold to platinum, palladium, and thorium, and many other riches. And this was damn. Oh. No. Let's see. Let me see if it's here. This would have been. It would have been a lot more than 2 years ago. It would have been. It was after the Q drop started. And it was right after the Q Plan to Save the World came out. And I'm not seeing it. Yeah. I got to look at this one just in case. Just in case. I got.
If you want peace, you are about men. Now we are calling for a great.
No, that's not it. I don't know. He was a young Canadian kid. He was sitting on his couch and he he pulled it up on the screen. He pulled up the geological maps and everything on the screen, so that everybody could follow exactly what he was talking about. And he was talking about places down in South America, especially where certain things certain findings there were going to be extraordinary. And can literally change the future. Dang nabbit. Yeah. Yeah, it's too bad I can't find that. It's I have to figure out where it's. I probably
Mr. President,
have to go through a lot to find it. So, ICE Seattle arrested an Amazon delivery driver in the Wedgwood area. Amazon has a history of hiring illicit labor. Yep. So, yeah, they're taking them all away. So soft on crime policies produce hard realities. Charlotte, North Carolina, Daquan Hunt incident. I'm not going to play that video again. Cash Patel shares a photo of a gravesite on the anniversary of Extortion 17. They are all fucked. They know. He knows. August 6, 2011. CH-47 Chinook helicopter, call sign Extortion 17, was shot down by insurgents in Afghanistan, or so they said. This resulted in the deaths of 30 U.S. service members, including 15 members of SEAL Team 6. Alan Parrott, a falconer who worked in Afghanistan, stated that Barack Obama had SEAL Team 6 members killed to cover up the alleged non-involvement of the SEALs in the actual killing of Osama bin Laden during the 2011 raid. More specifically, Parrott claimed to have documents proving that the SEALs did not kill bin Laden and that the Obama administration paid $152 billion to Iran to cover it up. If you haven't listened to Parrott's recorded conversation with Kurt Weldon and attorney Brian S. Ettinger in 2011, you need to. And that is still up over on Rumble if anybody wants to go and see that. And it was a very interesting interview. Yeah. So, and then what else was there? We already did that one. So basically what he did was he hosted a roundtable with American miners at the State Department HQ here in D.C. We are putting our minds back to work and we're reclaiming Americans' rightful place as the mineral superpower of the world, period. just, yeah. Let's see, was there anything else? No, that was it. That was, yeah. So we're pretty much all caught up for right now, you know. So, yeah. Oh, what's this?
This comes from Justice Alito, who brought this up during the arguments. This is his separate dissent. He says the court's interpretation also has national security implications. Suppose that a person's only connection to this country is that he was born here to a mother who was present just long enough to give birth and then quickly return to her native country. Suppose that country is a strategic adversary or enemy of the United States. Suppose the child never visited the United States while growing up and was inculcated with hatred of this country. According to this court, now that person is a citizen of the United States. He can enter and leave the country as he pleases. He can travel the world on a United States passport. Even if he plots to harm this country, he cannot be deprived of his status as a citizen, at least under current precedent. He goes on to say that this decision today also provides a powerful incentive to enter or remain in this country illegally. He goes on to say, in my judgment, the court has made a mistake that will seriously affect the country's future. So some very pointed dissents here from those who raised these very big concerns during the arguments. And they're real world scenarios, which are not a fantasy. They're not a movie. I mean, these things that can actually happen now under this ruling that you have today from the majority.
Yep. There you go. Yep. So, and then, let's see. Let's see. All right. Now that people are able to see it up close, they are reporting pure vandalism at the reflecting pool. Thank you, Andrew Layden, for your observation. The material was cut right where the videotape stopped or showed for 300 feet or more. People were on their knees with their hands in the water at the exact location of the slashes. Additionally, there were witnesses to the vandalism, and the flexible areas of the material were cut with knife. U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro should revisit her hastily made decision, especially since it turned out that the gentleman involved is a big player in Act Blue, a disgraceful fundraising scam, and is represented by a Trump deranged sleazebag political hack lawyer, Norm Eisen, and crew, a group that uses charity for political purposes, which is, to the best of my knowledge, illegal. I have been beating Eisen, a complete lunatic, in court for 10 years or more. He just keeps coming, but I will always win. President Donald J. Trump. Yep. Yep. So, yeah. Jason Q says, Department of Justice rapid response. Hey, I have a question. Has anybody looked into this mock trial back in 2016 with Applegate judges and Supreme Court justices finding a way to destroy an upcoming potential Trump presidency? This might help with the ballroom antics. It's also where we find Amy Jeffers, and many other never Trumpers. Leads us to a guy at the end that connects to Walmart via Kings where Rule 23A was attempted. Oh, Walmart v. Kings, where Rule 23A was attempted. It's a class action lawsuit. So we are able to sue the Democrat Party for rigging the elections under Rule 23A. We have standing. We are ready to stand. We fulfill all four prerequisites, as well as with the new evidence from the investigations. U.S. versus Throckmorton, 98 U.S. 61. Fraud vitiates everything. There you go. So right here. Yep. So you know what it is. All right. And yeah. All right, so that's where I'm going to end it for today. I've got to get the dogs down to the creek. We're getting hot again, and I'm starting to drip sweat. So it's time for me to get down in the cool area and the wind tunnel that is that creek. I will be back with you guys again tomorrow. I am working on my fuel fund, so those of you who wish to donate, please feel free to do so today so I can get fuel out here before I end up running out and then can't get a hold of anybody to get any out here. And other than that, I will see you guys again tomorrow. Remember, God loves you. Jesus loves you. I love you. And until we meet again, keep your head on a swivel.
Woke up this morning to a world on fire. Everybody shouting, climbing walls a while. Fear on the TV, lies across the screen. Hard to know these days what anything means. But I hear my Father's voice down in my soul. Stand up straight, don't let the darkness take control. Love your neighbor, hold the line, stay alive. Open up your eyes and let your spirit drive. Don't let the noise pull you under. Don't lose your heart in the thunder. Keep your head on a swivel, keep your eyes on the light. There's still love in the middle of the fight tonight. When the road gets narrow and the world feels cold, keep your heart wide open and never let go. Keep your head on a swivel, but your soul on the rise. There's a whole lot of beauty still left in these eyes. Yeah, the world may shake, but we're not gonna break. We were born for more than survival. Little old lady waving from a porch swing. Kids on the sidewalk still learning to dream. Somebody praying in the middle of pain. Somebody dancing in the pouring rain. There's still good people helping strangers stand. Still working hard with calloused hands. Still holding family, still holding faith. Still finding hope when it all feels late. Don't let the fear define you. There's still a fire inside you. Keep your head on a swivel, keep your eyes on the light. There's still love in the middle of the fight tonight. When the road gets narrow and the world feels cold, keep your heart wide open and never let go. Keep your head on a swivel, but your soul on the rise. There's a whole lot of beauty still left in these eyes. Yeah, the world may shake, but we're not gonna break. We were born for more than survival. Oh, don't forget who you are. You were made from the dust and the stars. Oh, even when shadows fall, love is still the strongest thing of all. Keep your head on a swivel, don't lose your grace. Every scar tells a story, every soul has a place. And if somebody stumbles, you help them stand tall. That's the kind of strength that can heal us all. Keep your head on a swivel, keep your faith alive. There's still hope for tomorrow as long as we try. Yeah, the world may change, but love remains, and that's how we survive. Keep your head